everyone, it's Nicole here, the Harmonious Hippy. I hope you're all doing super well today. I hope you're staying safe and warm wherever you are. I know back in Canada, where I'm from, they've had some last minute freak snowstorms, so just when you think you're done, nope, no ma'am. So today's video is our fourth installment in our 7-part chakra series. Today is one of my favorite chakras. It's the Heart Chakra. Contrary to popular belief, the color for the Heart Chakra is actually green, so hence my little green outfit today. I am also aware that my mug matches my outfit. That was not intentional. I am not a huge nerd. I am drinking some peppermint tea. We've also moved on to our Heart Chakra singing bowl, so you'll notice that they're getting tinier and tinier. I've also got some Heart Chakra crystals here, which I will go through really quick. The Heart Chakra, Anahata Chakra, however you want to pronounce it, is the love, joy, and compassion chakra. So the chant for this one is YAM, Y-A-M. And an unbalanced heart chakra is going to look like heart problems, asthma, weight issues, putting others first to the detriment of yourself. So over love, I guess. Feeling lonely, insecure, isolated. So really this one is all about love, self and otherwise. So if you are unbalanced, you're lacking that self-love, that self-care. And you're giving too much of yourself to other people. So it's that pouring from an empty cup idea. So really important chakra. I've got my crystals here that I'll talk about when we get going. We are going to need props today. So if you could grab 2 blocks, that would be perfect. If you don't have blocks, you can always use some heavy books that are about the same size. This is the thickness of them, kind of. We want to be using this height today, potentially all 3. So kind of try and find what height you can find. I myself prefer like really deep heart openers, so I like to use this height and this height. It sort of depends on you. As we are going to be doing a lot of heart openers today, just a disclaimer that if that's something that you find really uncomfortable, that's totally okay. Sort of try and do your best, see what you feel in each pose. If it starts to feel too uncomfortable, like too much is kind of coming to the surface, you can of course always take a break from the practice, just kind of lay down for a second and come back when it feels good for you. So let's get started. Okay everyone, so just getting started, seated as usual. I'll just go through my little crystals that I have here. So today, green is the Heart Chakra color, so a lot of green crystals are very good for this. I've got malachite with me today. I've got a moss agate, a jade, as well as the typical one that everyone knows, rose quartz. So some pink involved, but mostly green. So we're going to get started in our seated meditation. You can have the palms grounding, so facing down, or you can have the palms receiving, which is face up. As always, just getting comfortable. If you'd like to start off with the seated meditation sitting on your couch or in a chair, you can go ahead and do that as well. So just closing down the eyes, beginning to bring your attention to your body, noticing how you feel today. Noticing especially in the heart space. Are you feeling tight in the chest, heavy? Are you feeling very open? Just observing what's there, painting yourself a picture of what you're working with today. So scanning down from the top of the head through the body, noticing any points of sensation or tension. Just acknowledging that and then scrolling back down through the body, completing the scan. Noticing where your mental health is at today as well. Perhaps you're feeling very low energy, low mood. Maybe you're feeling really happy and excited. And myself, I'm just feeling just okay. feeling calm and relaxed. So whatever you find there, allowing that. And paying attention to the breath. Noticing how it feels as it flows in and out through the nose. Noticing the little muscles in the face. Are you frowning right now? Perhaps the corners of the mouth have turned up slightly. Are your shoulders up at your ears? Just observing all of these places of tension, common points to hold tension in the body. And throughout the practice today, trying to keep tuned in with that every time you notice that you're frowning or that you're clenching your jaw or your shoulders are up at the ears, just letting that go, relaxing one more thing. Always trying to find one more thing that you can release. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, just taking a couple of cleansing breaths here. Opening the mouth. Do that twice more. A deep breath in through the nose, gather up the tension. Opening the mouth. Last one, deep breath through the nose, the deepest one yet. And opening the mouth, let that go. Blinking the eyes open. And we can come down off of our props if you are seated up on a block like I am. I'm gonna stay seated for a second longer. It's a little easier to be down on the floor for this. So we're gonna move into some seated cat-cow. So these are really good if you do really wanna open across the chest space. So we can hold on to our ankles here. If you would like, you can also come into a bound angle or a butterfly pose. That might make it a little easier to hold your ankles. So we're going to, like with a cat and cow, we're going to open across the chest, sinking the belly forward, perhaps dropping the neck back. Deep inhale into the belly, let the belly expand. And on your exhale, pulling against your ankles, curling into the upper back, squeezing that breath out, chin to chest. Inhale, opening the chest. And exhale, curling back. Just doing a few more of these, flowing with your own breath. Working into that spine. And coming back up straight, we're going to do a couple more of these, but we're going to really get the arms into it here. So it is easier to kind of pull back against yourself. So we're not going to be leaning back quite as far, but we're going to have the arms closed here. So we're sinking forward, really peeling the scapula apart in the back. And then on our inhale, we're opening to goddess arms, peeling the chest open. I find I have a little bit better stability when I cross the ankles here. So opening the chest, peeling that open. Inhale, exhale, curl the spine back, peel the scapula apart, the shoulder blades. Inhale, opening the chest, nice and broad across the chest, across the collarbones. Exhale. The last one, inhale. And exhale. Rolling over into our tabletop position. So if you would like to place something under the knees, you can go ahead and do that. I'm gonna use my blanket here. So as always, we're lining up the wrists under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. And we're keeping a nice neutral spine here, so it's hard to see with my shirt, but we're keeping the belly kind of slightly engaged. The back is nice and straight. We're not sinking into the back or anything. Nice and strong here. And we're just gonna rock forward and backward, starting to work out the wrists slightly. Just moving slowly, seeing what feels comfortable for you today. And then opening the wrists to the sides. We're going to start making little circles here, just rotating around. And when you're ready, just switching directions. Just getting that movement into the wrists. And then flipping the tops of the hands onto the ground. You can do this one at a time, or you can do both if you'd like. Just leaning back, getting that stretch in the forearm. You can try and make little fists if you'd like. I like to kind of wiggle side to side. And then we're going to come into our puppy pose here. So this is a really nice shoulder stretch. So try and keep the hips above the knees here. And we're just going to start to sink down, extending the arms out in front of us. So your head might come to the ground. Maybe you sink a little farther forward. If you get to a stage where your chest hits the ground, you can, that's my blocks, you can tuck the chin or untuck the chin and place the chin on the floor. So feeling that expansion across the chest, the stretch in the shoulders. And slowly pressing into the floor, coming back up. We're going to remove our props. Planting the hands, curling the toes under and stepping up into your downward facing dog, maybe pedaling out the feet, rocking the hips side to side. Just getting comfortable in this pose. Inhale, gazing up at the thumbs and walking up and slowly rolling the spine up, rolling the shoulders back. Gracious, these pants do not want to stay on, you guys. So we're going to start off with some Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutations A. So coming to our Tadasana, mountain pose, nice and strong, pulling energy up from the ground, up through the legs, tucking the tailbone, engaging the core, rolling the shoulders back, nice and open across the chest. Nice and strong here. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up overhead. Exhaling to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Planting the hands, stepping back to your high plank. You can drop the knees here or come through your full chaturanga. Inhaling to your upward facing dog or your baby cobra. And then exhaling to your downward facing dog. Taking a breath here. Inhale, gazing up at the thumbs, stepping or hopping to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bending the knees, sweeping the arms up overhead, palms to touch. Exhale to heart center. We're going to do that twice more. So inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead, palms to touch. Let's take a baby back bend here. So tucking the tailbone, reaching up and over with your back bend. And then exhale, folding down. Inhale, halfway lift. Nice flat back. Exhale, fold. Planting the hands, stepping back to your high plank, chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Coming into your baby cobra or your upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, gazing up at the thumbs, stepping or hopping to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bending the knees, sweeping the arms up overhead, palms to touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. And we'll do one more round here with the back bend. So sweeping the arms up overhead, Back bend here. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Nice flat back. Exhale, fold. Planting the hands, stepping or hopping back to your high plank. Chaturanga. Upward dog or baby cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Inhale, gazing up at the hands and stepping or hopping to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sweeping the arms up, palms to touch. Exhale, heart center. Great job. We're gonna move into a balance pose now. So we're gonna go into dancer pose. If you would like to do this with a strap, you can go ahead and grab your strap. But we're gonna move very slowly here. So placing all the weight into one of your feet. And I like to turn my hand out. So I'm facing the front and I'm gonna reach for the inside of my foot. So grabbing onto that, you can pull that down, start to push your pelvis forward, feel that stretch in the quad. Arm comes up, you can stay here, or you can begin to push the foot into your hand and try and keep your legs together. Try not to come out. You want to keep this hip pointing front and down. So just moving slowly here, beginning to push that foot back before you start to sink forward. Thinking of keeping that hip down, small movements. Beginning to reach forward, hip down, pressing into the foot. Noticing if you're wiggling at all, just little movements, small adjustments. Holding that here, hip down. And then slowly and gracefully coming back up. Not like I did it. Shaking that out, we're gonna move on to the other side. So planting the weight down into the other foot. Reaching back, grabbing the inside of your foot on the other side. Pressing that hip forward, stretching the quad. Arm comes up. You can stay here. Or if you'd like to start pressing back into your hand with the foot. Again, stay upright as long as you can, hip pointing down, knee pointing down. Breathing, gazing at a point that isn't moving. I always hit a certain point and then I'm just done. And coming back out, we're gonna reach up, come into our little back bend again. Maybe you can go a little farther now. And folding over. Hanging in this forward fold, maybe rocking side to side. Let's step back to our downward facing dog. And we're gonna come into three-legged dog here. I'm moving over because we are going to move into wild thing. Just make sure that you're nice and stable if you're going to try this one. So planting one foot, lifting the other up and opening the hips. So heel to bum. If you want to keep going, you can bring that foot down, open the chest up into your wild thing, extending here, and then flipping back and placing that foot back down. Planting the other foot, opening the hip, dropping down if you'd like, opening into your wild thing, and then flipping back, foot down. Let's drop the knees nice and wide, toes come together, sitting back into our child's pose. Palms reach forward, forehead comes down to the mat. Breathing here. So slowly coming back up here, we're gonna bring the knees together. We're gonna come into our camel pose. So a lot of back bending and chest opening today. If it starts to get too much, feel free to always come to a child's pose. So we're gonna bring the hands to the lower back, hands on the bum, peeling the chest open, shoulders down, tucking the pelvis. We're gonna start to tip back, and then you can reach with one hand, grab for the heel. If you'd like, you can reach with both. Takes me a second always to get them. And then tilting the head back, pressing the hips forward. In your camel pose, to come up, tucking the chin, and sitting back on the heels. Breathing here. You're sitting back on your heels. I have a bum ankle, so I can't. That's why I look weird. Placing the hands on the floor. We're going to curl the toes under, come back to our downward facing dog, and walk the hands back to the feet. Heidi loves the heart chakra. So bending the knees, ragdoll, rolling up. We're gonna roll our shoulders back using the arms to open the chest, bending into the knees, dropping forward, ragdoll up, open the heart, bending the knees and dropping down. Twice more, ragdoll, open the heart, bend the knees, drop down. Last one, ragdoll, open the chest, and then roll down, forward fold. We're walking our hands back out into our plank and dropping the knees, coming down to the belly. We're going to pull our shoulders back, coming into our baby cobra here, using the strength of the back. Exhaling down. I'm gonna do that once more. Roll up. Release that down. Dropping the elbows to the floor, coming into our Sphinx pose. So hands are flat on the floor, elbows are lined up under the shoulders. Legs are out long, and we're just gonna twist to gaze over one shoulder. Try and see your bum. Back to center, and the other side. Extending that down. And making sure whenever we're in these positions on our front that you're pressing the pelvis into the floor. This is gonna take the pressure off of your lower back. So relaxing here in this little back bend. If you would like to come a little bit deeper, you can open the legs out to about the diagonals of your mat. Opening the hands out as well, we're gonna come into seal pose. So pressing into the hands, lifting up. You can keep the chin tucked or drop the head back. Breathing here again, pressing the pelvis into the floor. If you'd like to bend one leg and release, and bend the other. I think Heidi's getting the zoomies. And release. Breathing deep, making sure you're not sinking in the shoulders, pressing out. Ignoring the cat. She's lost her mind. And releasing down. We're gonna come into Locust Pose here. So rolling the shoulders back, peeling them back, extending the hands back and lifting the feet nice and high here. And release, dropping one ear to the mat. Coming back to center, reaching the hands back, palms face up, rolling the shoulders back, peeling yourself up off the floor. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze in the lower back. Use the strength of your back and then drop down, opposite ear. We're going to come in once more. There's an option here to come into bow pose if you would like to do that. If not, you can do another locust pose, or you can just relax on your belly. So again, like with dancer pose, we're twisting the arm out and reaching for the inside of the foot. So I like to kind of widen my knees, grab both feet, and then bring the knees back in. And we're going to press the feet into the hands to pull ourselves up here. Inhale, pulling up. Nice and high, pushing against the hands, pulling against the feet, breathing, and release. Head down, let the heels fall open. Now we're going to stretch out the shoulders a little bit more and move down here. So extending your arm out straight from the shoulder, palm down. You're gonna roll over to that side. You can lift up one foot and bring it over. Head can be relaxed or up. Again, just noticing if you're tensing your neck a lot. Twisting yourself open into the shoulder here. Releasing that tension. And rolling back to center. You're going to stick out your other arm and roll over. Letting go all that tension in the shoulders. Rolling back to center, releasing the shoulders. We are going to press ourselves up, coming back into our downward facing dog. We're going to come into our pigeon pose. If this isn't comfortable for you, you can always roll onto your back and come into figure four. So lifting up into our downward dog, we're going to lift one leg high and then scoop it forward. So as always, you can lean back and move the ankle out so that your foot is parallel with the front of your mat. Depending on your anatomy or your knees, I can't come parallel with my knees, so I like to pull my foot back in towards me. You can do this too, but just make sure that you're rocking up onto that hip regardless. So coming up nice and tall and then extending down. Feeling that stretch in the hip. If you'd like some support, you can always grab a block for under your bum. You can bring a block under your arms. Just seeing what makes you feel comfortable and supported here. I'm going to bring a blanket under my ankle. See if that makes things easier. And just letting the breath come to a normal, comfortable place here for you. I'm still adjusting, so you can always keep adjusting until you find that perfect spot for you. I mean, hip openers are always going to be likely somewhat uncomfortable. So just find where it feels okay for you and then breathe into the pose. Releasing the hips. Sweating, y'all. This one isn't even that intense today. So it's sinking that straight leg back. Coming up, we're gonna come into Mermaid Pose here. So pulling that back foot in towards you, reaching back. If you can kind of sink that foot into your inner arm crease. And then reaching, whoa, depending on your balance. It's hard when you're on a blanket. So you really want to extend that back foot long behind you. Get your balance, reaching up overhead, perhaps hooking the fingers, and then releasing. Try to do it as gracefully as possible. We're gonna plant the hands, tuck the toe under, coming back into our three-legged dog, and release that foot down. Walking out the feet, seeing how that feels, if you feel a lot of difference between one leg and the other now that we've released that one hip. We're gonna kick up the other leg nice and high and pull it in to our pigeon pose, coming up nice and tall. And then extending down. You might notice a difference between the sides. This one's a lot more comfortable for me. Relaxing to that pose. Noticing if you're clenching the jaw, if you're frowning, letting that go. Continuing to breathe in and out through the nose. Noticing if your mind is wandering, just bringing it back into your body, to the mat. Extending that back leg out a little bit longer. Sitting up, we're gonna come into Mermaid Pose on the other side. So pulling that back leg up, perhaps hooking it into the inner shoulder, or inner elbow, sorry. My God, for once I'm not sweaty enough. And getting your balance, lifting that top arm, perhaps hooking the fingers, and extending out. Releasing that pose, planting the hands, tucking the toe, and coming back into your three-legged dog. Releasing that down, rocking the hips. We're gonna come to our seated position here. We're gonna move into Fire Log Pose, so another hip opener. These are all really good things to not necessarily open the heart, but they're good for relieving tension. So I like to put them with heart opening practices. So bringing one foot parallel to the side of your mat, flexing the toes back so that you're protecting your knee. You're gonna grab your other foot and bring that foot on top of the knee. So you may be up high like this. You can place a block in this space here. Maybe your hips are all the way down. Growing up nice and tall, beginning to sink forward slightly. So perhaps you have quite tight hips and this is really hard for you and you're still all the way up here, totally fine. Try and release some area of tension. If you can find one space to let something go, Maybe you're all the way down here thinking that I'm crazy. Just keep walking forward. Flatten yourself out on the floor, why don't you? Lifting that back up, we're going to cross the leg over and begin to pull the bottom leg in towards our bum. But try and keep both sit bones on the floor. So we're coming into shoelace pose here. So you want to try and have your knees in line with each other. My hip won't let me do it, but try and get them as close as possible. You can also hold onto your feet like this. Roll the shoulders back. It's just another good hip opener. Again, you can start to sink down over the knees. Extending out that bottom leg, nice and long, bringing the crossed leg over, and we're just gonna come into a seated twist here. So holding onto this bent knee, inhaling up and twisting behind you. Inhales grow you tall, and the exhales allow you to twist a little bit deeper. Inhaling the head back to center, followed by the body. Let go of that leg, shake the legs out. And we're coming to the other side. So for our fire log pose, we're gonna have our one leg parallel with the mat, bringing the other foot on top of the knee, and begin to sink forward again, flexing the feet to protect the knees. Just coming forward to where you are comfortable. I have trouble on this side with my ankle, but I want to go deeper for my other hip. It's hard. Try it this way. There we go. There we go. So again, you'll notice, like with pigeon, that one side will be a little bit easier than the other side. That just sort of depends on your dominant side, how you walk, how you tend to sit or sleep. All of these things can contribute to a tighter hip. Typically, your dominant side will be your tighter hip. And releasing that, we're going to pull that top leg in back a little bit, crossing the other one over top, trying to get our knees even here, coming into our shoelace pose, dropping both hips down. Again, you can start to release the body over the legs. Straightening back up, we're going to release that bottom foot out, uncross the top foot, pulling the hand around, growing up tall, and twisting behind. Inhales create space. Exhales twist you a little deeper. And inhaling the head back to center, followed by the body extending that foot out. Shaking that out. Now we are going to come into our supported fish pose. So this is a great heart opener. I love this pose. So if you would like to grab your two blocks, I like a deep heart opener, so I'm going to use the second height for my first block and the tallest one for my second block. I don't like to leave my head hanging. I get a little bit of swimmer's nose, so that's why I have the block here. If you would like to just let your head hang behind you, you can remove this block. You can have this one on its lowest setting, whatever works the best for you. So you can always kind of wiggle around and find where your best place is. If you have a blanket that you'd like to put on your blocks, I have cork blocks, so mine are quite hard. So I'm going to find my spot here. So you want to be sort of where your bra strap would be at the base of it, or think of right where your thoracic spine sort of begins. So you don't want to be in your lower back here. You don't want to feel like you're really cracking your lower back. You want to be up a little bit higher than that, almost to your mid-back, and then peel the shoulders open, allow them to fall down. You can keep your knees up, you can open the heels wide and let the knees fall in towards each other. You can extend the legs out long if that's okay for your lower back. I personally love a butterfly leg here. So just finding what's comfortable for you. We're gonna be here for a little while. So adjusting as much as you need to. And if you settle in and you think you're in your pose and then you find that it's actually growing uncomfortable and it's not right, you can move. You don't have to stay still at any point. So always making sure that you're in the right pose for you. If you have your head hanging down, perhaps playing with lifting the arms overhead, opening through the shoulders. I'm really feeling the chest peeling open. As I mentioned at the beginning, heart openers can be a little hard for some people, and that's okay. For me, it's hip openers. For some, it's heart openers. Just noticing if you're feeling a lot of emotions swirling around or rising up. Just acknowledging that. Perhaps inviting those emotions to come. Maybe you're not running from the emotions, letting them be what they will be, sitting with that discomfort. As always, if it gets too intense, you can always back off. Perhaps coming down into the fetal position, whatever's going to feel safest for you. Just releasing. Again, noticing the little muscles in the face, relaxing all those tiny muscles around the eyes, letting the eyeballs fall heavy into the head. Smoothing out the forehead, as if someone has poured warm oil right onto your forehead, feeling it pour down the sides of the face, smoothing out any lines of tension. Relaxing the jaw, perhaps letting the lips part as the tongue comes off the roof of the mouth. And feeling that oil pouring into the center of the chest. Gliding down the shoulders, chest being open. Noticing if you're clenching your glutes. Just allowing that to release. Feeling the warm oil being poured into the palms of the hands. Calming, relaxing, allowing you to let go. Release even more. Bringing the legs back up and the knees in. If you have a block under your head, you can just tuck the chin to remove that. And perhaps just rolling to one side. removing the other block. And coming back down onto your back. Noticing how this feels to be flat on the earth. Tucking the chin slightly to extend the neck along the floor. Pulling the knees into the chest and giving yourself a little hug. Maybe rocking side to side, massaging out the lower back. And beginning to rotate the knees around. Just massaging that lower back just a little bit more. And perhaps changing directions. Bringing the knees back up. We're going to cross the legs like we did when we were seated. And then just dropping towards the side that your top leg is twisted to. So dropping towards that foot. And coming into your twist. Gazing over at the opposite hand. Breathing deeply into the belly. Feeling that nice massage on the inner organs. Bringing out the spine. Inhaling the head back to center, followed by the legs, untwisting and crossing the other leg on top and rolling to that side. Gazing over at the opposite arm, twisting that open. Breathing deeply into the belly. And inhaling the head back to center, followed by the knees. Uncrossing those legs and coming into your happy baby, reaching for the shins or your feet, maybe rocking side to side a little here, maybe straightening one leg and the other. Getting out any last wiggles before we come into our Shavasana. Pressing the feet into the hands and pulling against the feet. Really straightening that lower back out on the ground. And when you're ready, just releasing the legs. If your lower back feels tender, you can have the heels out wide and the knees falling in towards each other. Or you can extend the feet out long. As always, if you would feel safer taking Shavasana on your belly, you can go ahead and do that. Or you can come into the fetal position, tucking the chin slightly to extend the neck, perhaps tucking the shoulder blades under. Palms face up. Relaxing here. Feeling the body melting into the floor. And starting at the feet, just releasing tension as we move up the body. So feeling all of the tension released from the toes. And just drawing that relaxation up to release the soles of the feet, the arches, tops of the feet, perhaps feeling some tingling or sensation as we move up the body into the heels, the ankles, allowing that to drop into the ground. And drawing that relaxation up into the shins and the calves. Just letting those muscles release. So you draw that relaxation up into the knees, allowing the kneecaps to fall heavy. And relaxing the hamstrings. the quads. You hold so much strength and tension here. Just letting that go. Releasing the lower body into the ground. With every breath that you take, just letting that drop down a little bit deeper. As you draw that relaxation up into the pelvis and the glutes, releasing any tension in this area, just relaxing into the earth. And now relaxing into the lower belly and the lower back, giving the lower back permission to let go. And sweeping that relaxation up into the upper back and the chest. That heart space where we hold so much emotion and tension. Just letting that sink down. Letting any tension seep into the earth. And breathing that relaxation up into the shoulders, letting the shoulders draw back and down. Allowing that tension to sink down into the arms, releasing the biceps, the elbows, forearms. Releasing all of the tiny muscles and ligaments in the hands, the wrists. Allowing the fingers to curl slightly as you release that tension. And drawing the relaxation up into the neck and the throat. And finally up into the head. Letting the jaw drop down, perhaps parting the teeth and the lips. Allowing the cheeks to drop towards the ears. And the ears fall back towards the ground. Allowing any tiny little muscles around the eyes to let go. Allowing the eyeballs to fall heavy into the head. Smoothing the forehead and letting the scalp relax down. Feeling the whole body sinking into the ground, totally relaxed. Breathing. When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful. Every hour we spent together lives within my heart. And when she was sad, I was there to dry her tears. And when she was happy, so was I. When she loved me. Through the summer and the fall, we had each other, that was all. Just she and I together, like we were meant to be. And when she was sad, I was there to dry her tears. And when she was happy, so was I. When she loved me. Deepening the breath. Bringing movement back into the body. Perhaps wiggling the toes and the fingers, rolling the wrists and the ankles, maybe rocking the head side to side. And when you're ready, just drawing up the knees and allowing yourself to roll over to your favorite side, using the bottom arm as a pillow, coming into the fetal position, just relaxing here for a moment. And when you're ready, just using your hands to press yourself up into your comfortable cross-legged position. Keeping the eyes closed or lowered. We're going to bring our attention to the heart space, the center of the chest. Just visualizing a beautiful green light shining in this heart space and beginning to expand out from this center, covering everything in this beautiful, warm green light. Feeling the joy and the love in your heart spreading out to everything and everyone. And you too are greeted with their love, joy, and compassion. Knowing that you are never truly alone, and that you can always find someone to talk to sit with. You are surrounded by love, and joy is your birthright. You are always worthy and deserving of happiness, contentment, and love. As always, feel free to chant along with me, or just listen and let the waves of sound wash over you. Keeping your attention drawn to that heart space, the center of the chest, and that green light emanating from there. As we chant Yan, inhaling. Yan. Bringing the hands to Anjali Mudra, heart center, or laying the palms flat on the chest, feeling the heartbeat. Bowing the head slightly, honoring your heart space, honoring the love that is within you. Thanking yourself for taking time out of your day to do something that is so good and so nurturing for you. Allowing the heart space to remain open. Allowing love to come in and out. Accepting the joy that you deserve. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this practice. I love heart openers, so for me that was fabulous. If any emotions or discomfort did come up and you are sitting with that right now, I invite you to allow that and see sort of where that goes. If it's too much for you, of course, you can always move into another space, distraction or whatever it is that you like to do. I'm always available if you would like to talk, if you just are feeling lonely and you want someone to connect with. You can always connect with me on Instagram at Harmonious Hippy. If you enjoyed this practice, this video, please hit the like button and go ahead and leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know just what you're enjoying today. If you have any good books or podcasts to recommend, anything you want to let me know. If you just want to say hi, that's great. I always enjoy hearing from you guys. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified every time I post. We have 3 more videos now, so we've gotten over the halfway hump, and we have 3 more videos coming related to the root chakras. Of course, I will continue posting after the root chakra, or after the chakras are done, but for our chakra series, we have 3 videos left. So I hope you're starting to feel a lot more balanced and free in your lives now that we've worked through the first 4 chakras. We are moving up next week into the throat chakra. I also really like this chakra. Communication and chatting, right? Who's surprised? So I look forward to moving through those last 3 chakras with you guys, and I hope you have a great weekend and a great week ahead. I love you so much. I appreciate you so much. Namaste.